guys, thanks for stopping by. It's Kelly, the Sunshine Crafter. In this video, I'm going to be focusing on making alcohol ink strips. And here, this is just my alcohol ink collection. It's not the full set, but it's close. And here is my little alcohol ink puffer. It's a camera lens cleaner. I use it to blow the inks around. My blending solution, my Pinata gold alcohol ink, and my 91% isopropyl alcohol. That's what I'm going to be using today. And here's some basic Yupo. It's not the heavyweight, it's just your basic Yupo cardstock. Now here I'm going to speed this up because it's just, you know, your basic adding ink. So this pair, it's from it's Chicard Pinata Gold is the company. I think that's the name of them. Anyway, all the products I'm using will be linked below. So here what I'm doing is I'm just focusing on wetting the strip of Yupo paper. I'm just, you know, the first sample I'm using is blending solution. And then I'm just adding, you know, the gold. I keep my Pinata Gold in this fine tip bottle because I have a lot more control, and you really don't need that much of it, and it spreads out nicely, so that's why I keep it in there. I have like the larger bottle, but I keep it in there because it's just easier to work with. Yeah, so I just added my strip right now is wet from the blending solution, and as you can see, when you use blending solution, it gives a more veiny look, like harsher edges, not as smooth. It's just a different look from the alcohol, the rubbing alcohol. I'm going to show you a side-by-side comparison coming up shortly, but I just want you to know that, yeah, when you use the blending solution, you get more of those cells and those veiny lines. Now, that's really good if you want to add like gold foiling, because the veiny lines stay wet longer than the inks do. It's like when two colors connect together, or if there's like, you know, I guess they call them veins. Those veins stay tacky longer than the rest of the areas. And when you lay a sheet of gold foil across that, those tacky veiny lines will pick up the foil, and it looks really pretty. I mean, you could always use, you know, glue, you know, like a glue pen to make lines, and then you could add foil that way. But if you just want to do it organically, using blending solution is a good way to do that. So as you can see, the gold really didn't move around too much, but the colors did move and they blended, but they just look a little different than the next sample. Now on my little puffer, the tip comes off so you can make a wider hole of air, like a bigger burst of air with the puffer. I love this tool. I use it every time I play with alcohol inks. So as you can see, you know, it's still wet, but it looks pretty, right? I always tend to use rainbow colors. It's just what I like. And I also wanted to show you that when you get Bristol cardstock or watercolor pad cardstock, in the back there's always a hard cardboard panel. And when you're done with your cardstock, don't throw that out. Keep that. That's great for watercoloring. It's great for, you know, keeping alcohol inks on it to dry. I have a few of them that I keep by my computer, and I just use them, you know, as I need them, and they're great to have. Anyway, moving on. So this next panel is where I'm going to use the 91% isopropyl alcohol, and I use a pipette to put that on because pipettes, it's so much easier to use than just, you know, pouring it on. And I'm using the Pinata Gold again, and you're going to see here in a moment how much it moves a lot easier with the puffer than the blending solution. See, it breaks apart. It doesn't stay in that circle shape. So yeah, it's a different look. Now I'm going to use the same colors as I did before with the first example. You know, the Roy G. Biv, the rainbow. I tend to always do rainbow colors. I like them. what can I say? They make me happy, right? So anyway, I'm adding, you know, the same colors, moving on, and just puffing it away. And you're going to see what's nice about the rubbing alcohol is that it doesn't make those same harsh lines that you get with the blending solution. And yeah, see how it's just smoother. And with the, I only do one color at a time because I try to control it the best I can, and I try to prevent those harsh lines. With this blending solution, you get, you know, the harder lines, but the rubbing alcohol, you get like a smoother blend. So yeah, I just started working a job at Quest. I started back in October, and after we draw blood, we have to prepare it to either be frozen or, you know, whatever. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because the pipette, I'm showing you here, pipettes are something I use on a daily basis to pipette the serum or plasma out of a tube and freeze it. It depends on the test. So we have to prepare all that so when the driver comes and gets it, it's ready, and it gets transferred to a lab about 5 hours away where it's tested. Anyway, my point is that I have pipettes that I use every day, and I highly recommend them for alcohol inks as well. And yeah, so anyway, so I'm almost finished with the second example, and you can see here I'm going to put them side by side, and you'll notice the big difference. Now, why I like to use strips instead of a full panels, because when I have so many full panels that I made that sit in a box and I never use them, because then I'm like, okay, now what? But what's nice about the strips is you can use them to make elements on your cards, whether it be letters or hearts or, you know, any die cuts. Okay, now look, I want to show you the difference. This is the blending solution. See, it's still pretty. It's pretty, very nice result. Rainbow, you know, the whole thing. It's just a different look. And the gold doesn't break apart as much with the blending solution. Now the isopropyl alcohol, see the difference? It's just like a smoother blend, you know? It's just, it blends better for some reason, and nothing rubs off. I wanted to show you that because I had one time where I used the isopropyl alcohol. I got like a chalky finish and it rubbed off. So I don't know why that happened. But anyway, here's another one I made that I forgot to hit record. I used black and gold, and another one, for some reason my camera wasn't recording. But yeah, and this is one that I really didn't like the way it came out. And again, another reason it's good to use the strips is you can try colors and use, you know, experiment. You can experiment this way, find what colors go good together, what colors you like, and whatnot. Okay, so now moving on with my strips. What I'm going to use is from my favorite things. It's the Artist Palette. I think that's the name of it. I can't find it right now. Oh, here it is. It is, what is this called? Artist Palette and Brush set. And it's such a cute set to make crafty cards for friends. And now that silver cardstock, that's actually Yupo. It's supposed to be for you. It was like came in a package of Yupo paper, like 3 different. It was like a variety pack. It had silver, it had matte, and it had glossy Yupo paper for alcohol inks. So I just use it when I need shiny silver cardstock. I seem to like it better for that. So what I did was I cut out my little pieces, my brush, my little, you know, rainbow colors for my artist palette. And now I made a few examples of this card, like you saw in the beginning of the video, and with slight variations. Now this one, if I was going to make this card again, I would go on an angle. You know, instead of going straight up and down with these score lines, I would go on an angle. But I wanted to show you that black and gold strip that I used. I used that for the handle, the brush, so it looks like a marbleized paintbrush, you know. So that's what's so great about using little strips. You can use them for different elements and die cuts on your cards to give quick results on things, and it's just, I love doing that. So instead of using, I used, I picked out colors in my rainbow for my little pieces of paint for my, my die cuts there. And now I'm going to use my favorite things, bold watercolor stripes, for my background. And I really wanted a really light, subtle background. I didn't want to take the focus away from my focal image. So I just used some Gina K, barely there ink, stamped it down. Now wait for it. There is a boo-boo coming. You'll see it soon. This isn't going to be this will be the second time this has happened. Okay, so I'm moving along, and I'm using my favorite things sentiment set here, and I'm getting ready to stamp Hello Friend. Stamp up my thing. Here it comes. Here it comes. And I'm like, what is that? Oh no, it happened again. Dang it. A black hair has transferred somehow onto my ink. And if you look closely, here it is. There it is. From my black cat, Sammy. Maybe it was on my shirt, or maybe he spends time in here with me, so who knows where it came from. But this isn't the first time this happened. So I paused the camera, re-stamped everything, and caught back up. Here we go. So now I use my Simon Says stamp, transfer grid, that transparency. I use that to get my sentiment on the bottom straight. Now this stamp is from Echo Park, and it's from, it's like a Crafty stamp set. And I paired them together because I thought it would be cute. Like, hello friend, eat, sleep, craft, repeat. Even though I think it should say eat, craft, sleep, repeat. I never understood why they have it in that order. I think it would be eat, craft, sleep, repeat. I don't know. Anyway, so I trimmed my black panel here, which is just, 65-pound cheap black cardstock, and I trimmed it a bit smaller than the A2. Then I trimmed that a little bit smaller than that, like 1/8 of an inch all around. And once that was put in place, I just added some foam squares to the back of my palette. Now I wanted this to be a little interactive, where the brush can come in and out. So I made sure that none of the squares would block my little paintbrush from coming in and out. So yeah, one of them was in the way, so I pulled it off. But anyway, so I lined it up, put it all together, and I was going to put some clear droplets on it, and I decided against it. I figured, let me just keep it the way it is. Kind of like the way it came out. And then the recipient can pull the paintbrush out. It's just for fun. I really enjoy making crafty cards for crafty friends because, I know they appreciate them. Now, this one's a little different. It has a gold embossing frame, and I embossed the Hello Friend in gold to match, and I just added some black splatter with a black gel pen. And this other one is, the paint palette is not scored, so it's plain. So they're all a little different, but same design. Thank you so much for stopping by. It truly means a lot to me. I know there's a lot of other card makers out there, and I just appreciate you stopping by. Please consider liking and commenting and stopping by again. Thank you.